The late afternoon sun slanted through my windows, scattering golden shapes across the polished dining table I had spent hours preparing. 10 chairs stood ready, each place set with care. Folded linen napkins, polished cutlery, crystal glasses catching the light. The air smelled faintly of roasted herbs and freshly baked bread. I wanted this day to be perfect. I had imagined laughter spilling into every corner of my new home, my family raising their glasses in a toast to mark what had taken me nearly a decade to achieve. I had saved for 7 years, worked endless overtime, skipped vacations, and sacrificed comforts just to afford this house. It wasn't grand, but it was mine. My invitation had gone out a month ago, printed on thick cream paper, the date written in bold. At 2 o'clock sharp, I straightened the flowers in their vases, waiting for the first knock. At 3, I paced the hallway, refreshing my phone for messages. By 4, only a few friends had arrived, kind souls, who filled the silence with cheerful chatter. My neighbor, Mrs. Whitaker, came with a pie wrapped in foil, smiling at me with the quiet understanding of someone who had lived long enough to know disappointment. But my family never came. Not my parents, not my sister, not even a text of apology. Later, scrolling through social media, I saw them all together in my sister Emily's new apartment, glasses raised, faces shining. The caption under my mother's post read, "So proud of our girl's first home." I stared at the glowing screen until my eyes blurred. The laughter frozen in those photos was a knife that twisted deeper with every swipe. Emily hadn't even bought that apartment. She was renting, something she'd admitted to me months ago. Yet there they all were, celebrating her as though she had scaled a mountain, while my achievement remained invisible. I set my phone down, my hands trembling. My friends exchanged cautious glances, unsure of what to say. Mrs. Whitaker broke the silence first. She lifted her glass of wine and declared in her steady, no-nonsense tone, "Don't let empty chairs take your joy, Anna. Tonight is yours." The others followed her lead, raising their glasses toward me. For the first time that evening, I felt a fragile warmth, a reminder that family can sometimes come from the people who simply choose to show up. When the last guest left, I wandered through the quiet house, leftovers stacked in neat containers on the counter. The silence pressed in on me, heavier than before. Then the doorbell rang. When I opened it, my mother stood on the porch, pearl earrings glinting in the porch light. She didn't wait for an invitation. She walked right in, her eyes scanning the polished hardwood floors and restored light fixtures. "It's nice," she said finally, with that familiar faint purse of her lips. "Smaller than I expected, though." I swallowed hard. "Why didn't you come today?" She set her bag down on the sofa and sighed. "Honestly, Anna, you're always competing with Emily. Couldn't you let her have one day?" Her words stung, but more than that, they revealed what I had always suspected. My family had chosen a story where Emily was the star and I was the shadow. I forced myself to meet her eyes. "I wasn't competing. I invited you weeks ago. You knew." She shifted uncomfortably, fussing with a cushion as though the fabric mattered more than my voice. "Emily has been struggling. She needed us more. You're stronger, you'll manage." There it was again, that excuse, used like a shield, stronger, independent, able to endure neglect without breaking. I felt a fire ignite in me. I didn't work 7 years and rebuild this house just to be invisible in my own family. For a moment, she said nothing. Then, with practiced indifference, she collected her purse. "You're being dramatic. One day you'll thank us for supporting her." She left without waiting for me to reply. The door clicked shut, and I leaned against it, my chest heaving. For the first time, I didn't feel guilty for speaking. I felt free. Days later, my father came by alone. He walked slowly through the house, his eyes softer than I had ever seen them. "You've made something beautiful here," he admitted, almost a whisper. Then after a long pause, "We should have been here." I didn't know if it was an apology or a beginning. But as I stood in the home I had built with my own hands, I realized I no longer needed their recognition. My worth was not waiting at anyone's table. It was already here within these walls.